It's should I buy additional service credit? Well, there are 3 different types of service credit you can buy. I'm going to probably spend the most time on non-qualified, or what's called airtime. There is also permissive, and you could do a redeposit. First, I'm going to say it needs to be calculated on an individual basis, and you've got to see for yourself if it makes sense to buy this non-qualified time. Yeah, go ahead and push the
I just had a quick question about what we were just speaking about.
Okay.
Type C leave, if you're able to bank overload that you teach, you don't get paid for it, but then you bank it, and you can, as I understand it, in your final year you can cash that out. Would that give you the ability to spike your income for your retirement?
I do not know the answer to that question, because I know you guys have a lot of different leave things. The best thing I would suggest you do is call Los Rios Benefits, because I do not know the answer to that one.
Could you repeat the question?
The question, can you just repeat it on there for them?
The question was just, is it possible to spike your pay the last year with cashing out a year of Type C leave?
And really the Type C is already figured in. It's just a matter of whether you take it as a lump payment, which is the way it would be paid to you if you didn't actually take the time. You just get paid for that year, but it doesn't impact the formula for your retirement.
Yeah, and I know you guys, I went to, as Tom said earlier, I'm an associate member of the Faculty Association for California Community Colleges, and I'll put a plug in for them because the Los Rios Teachers Association does do a health and retirement fair. I'm not sure where it's going to be this next year, but they do it that Tuesday in August before Flex Days, and they go through a lot of these issues. And it was very enlightening for me to learn. I did not realize you guys had that many leave categories and everything. So there's a lot, and it's kind of really interesting stuff. So to get back to this, your non-qualified service credit, or what's called airtime, and I'm just going to read you from the 2010-2011 booklet, because there's a booklet called the CalSTRS Purchase Additional Service Credit. It says members with at least 5 years of CalSTRS service credit may purchase up to 5 years of non-qualified service credit, or as a lot of people call it, airtime. And non-qualified service is not connected to any prior employment. That's why it's called airtime. It's like out in the air. That's why it's typically called that. Non-qualified service credit cannot be used to qualify for the career factor, longevity bonus, or the 25-year threshold for 1-year final compensation. The key is the cost of the purchase of the non-qualified service credit is calculated differently from the purchase of other service credits. The best thing to do there is to go to calstrs.com calculators, and you can calculate it on there. And it depends on your age, your salary. There's a lot of factors that come in. And here's the key. The cost depends on your age, service credit, and your highest annual earnable compensation at the time of purchase. The cost is lower if you're younger, since funds will have a longer time to earn compounded interest before the retirement benefit begins. So if, say, you're in your 30s or 40s, it's going to be cheaper than if you're getting close to retirement, say, in your 50s or early 60s. But you got to remember here, the big thing with non-qualified or airtime, remember when I wrote and I'll put it back up here, you had that 8% that you put in, the 8.25% that Los Rios, and then that 2.17% the state is. Well, when you do the non-qualified, this isn't in there, so you've got to make up that amount of money. So that's why it's typically a lot more expensive. So you have to really run the numbers yourself to see. But one thing you can do, you can, if you're going to buy the service credit, different types of credit, you can do it in a lump sum. They might say it's X dollars. You just write a check and send it to CalSTRS. It can be a rollover from a qualified plan, which would either be like a 403B, a 401K, an IRA, or also technically a 401A, which is like what CalSTRS is itself, or a 457, or a portion of that. Or you can do up to 120 monthly installments of not less than $25 each made by direct mail or payroll deduction. And interest is charged on each month on the unpaid balance. But one of the big keys with STRS I want to stress, though, you have to buy it before you retire. The purchase has to be completed before you retire. And then the key is rollovers and lump sum payments must be completed in combination with installment plans, but must be completed before beginning tax-deferred payroll deductions. And then the payments that you put in from your paycheck can be tax-deferred if your employer allows it. The key, though, is once you sign up for tax-deferred payments, you cannot change the payment method, amount, or period of installments. You are locked into an irrevocable payment authorization contract. So you definitely want to make sure you look at these and see. Yes?
Could you explain the benefit simply about buying additional credit then? If it doesn't contribute to years of service, like making a 25-year threshold
Sure.
or 30-year threshold, if it doesn't work there, where does it show up in the formula for funds to be received?
I'm just going to read this to you and probably put some of these numbers down. It says, Tony, age 55, has 18 years of CalSTRS. So he's 55 years old, has 18 years of service credit, and he earns $65,000 a year. It will cost her, Tony, I'm sorry, it's a woman, Tony. It says in 2009-10, it will cost her $17,225 to purchase 1 year of non-qualified service credit, or $86,125 to purchase 5 years, retiring at age 50 with the 3-year average earnable salary of $66,000. The 5 years of non-qualified service credit will bring Tony's total service credit to 28 years. This would increase the retirement benefit by an additional, so it's going to be $589 a month increase. It's going to take her approximately 12 years to recover her initial $86,000 because she did this times 5. And that's typically about where the break-even is. So the key is you'd have to say, so it's a 12-year break-even. So then the issue becomes, is your family have a lot of longevity? And the other issue is, do you have $86,000 just laying around to pop in there? Yeah. I think what it comes down to a lot, I remember talking to somebody, because I get this question a lot with CalPERS, because you can do it with PERS also if you're a PERS member. It's if you're really risk averse and you say, well, I'd rather invest it in CalSTRS or CalPERS, if that's the case, and let them invest it in a sense, and then I get the benefit. So I think that's the issue. But you got to remember, let's say you did have that $86,000, and let's say it's in your 403B. Well, so you could just roll it over and pay for the service credit. But let's say you only had a total of maybe $100,000 in your 403B total. Well, now you're left with what, like $13,700 or $875. That's it for additional funds. So you really got to look to say, am I willing to take a lump sum that I can do anything I want with it and give it to my heirs maybe, whereas here. So that's why I very much say it's a real personal decision. I think there was a question back there.
Is it a proportional, like if she just did the 1 year for $17,000, would she get increase about about 100 or something?
Yeah, I think yes. I think it would be exact. Yeah, I think so. Yes.